have a really, I'll just admit up front, I have a very love-hate complicated relationship with AMC theaters. Many of you know, followed me for any period of time. I worked with AMC for a lot of years and I loved my time there. I made some great friends there. There's some people who were in leadership there that I have a lot of respect for, and there will always be a very, very special place in my heart for AMC theaters. And it's still the movie theater I go to. That's still the theater I go to. That being said, in my own personal evaluation and opinion, they have one of the universe's ultimate jackasses as CEO right now, who's just a complete bumbling idiot and doesn't know what the fuck he's doing, in Adam Aaron. That is my own personal assessment. You can have yours. And I've gone over many, many, many times why I think this guy is just a stumbling boob when it comes to being the CEO of the company. Might be a wonderful person as an individual away from the job, but my assessment, and we've gone over why I feel this way many, many times, is that one of the most disturbing things I ever saw this moron do was when we were at CinemaCon 2 years ago. You guys will remember that a part of that GameStop meme stock boom was AMC theaters. AMC theaters stock was low. The company was completely heading in the wrong direction. Adam Aaron, of course, was there. Of course, things that were outside of even Adam Aaron's control, the pandemic and stuff like that were happening. But then AMC got caught up in the meme stock boom, right? And all of a sudden their stock at one point nearly hit $400 a share. I think it was like $393 a share the stock hit when it was down like around $5 or something at one point. And I remember being at CinemaCon. I've told the story before, but it's relevant to this story. I remember being at CinemaCon. Adam Aaron got up on stage and basically boasted about how he saved AMC. People thought we were in trouble, but look at us now. And like he was basically taking credit for it. And I'm sitting in that theater in Las Vegas and I almost got myself thrown out because I wanted to stand up and yell, "You insufferable dick. You did nothing. This was the meme stock that saved your ass. You had nothing to do with this." Anyway, of course, through no fault of AMC's or Adam Aaron's, that stock, meme stock, was going to come down. So it came down and started to hover around the $60 mark, $50 mark, but it dropped more and more and more. And the other day it closed at a record low of $4.11. This comes to us from Yahoo Finance, who wrote the following. At its lows of the day, the stock was down more than 11%. AMC stock has been on a downward spiral for months as the theater chain continues to issue stock to reduce its debt, a move which dilutes equity investors. The stock is down 90% since July. Not since the meme stock time, because that's down 99% since the meme stock. But just since July, it's down 90% when it traded at just north of $40 per share. In June of 2021, the stock closed at a high of $339.05 per share on a split adjusted basis. Now, if we go over and take a look at this chart, and you'll have to take my picture down, you see that yesterday, the stock closed at $4.11. When in as early as August, it was still peaking above $40 a share. Now, of course, there are some realities in the industry, pardon me, that were outside of the control of much like the pandemic was completely outside of the control of anybody in leadership at AMC, 100%. But again, I don't need to go into it again because those of you who watch the show regularly, we have gone down the huge laundry list of all the, what I think have been the completely erroneous moves that AMC has made, some of the ridiculous claims that the leadership at AMC theaters has made, and some of the actions their leadership has taken. And one of the things that they're doing, although I think there's an argument to be made for it in their defense, they have a lot of debt still, right? And so they've been issuing new shares of stock. The problem is, as Yahoo Finance kind of pointed out, when you have a certain amount of stock, it has a certain value. When you start to pour more stock into the market, the value of that existing stock drops. So AMC found themselves in a situation, we need to raise more capital to pay off debt. The way we do that is by issuing more stock. The consequence of that is the stock price drops and stuff like that. So guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of this video, Mint Mobile. On average, it takes about 30 days for a person to break their New Year's resolution. So if saving money was on your 2024 list, your odds aren't looking that great. Luckily, I have a 100% guaranteed way to save you money this year. Just switch to Mint Mobile. For a limited time, wireless plans from Mint Mobile are $15 a month when you purchase a 3-month plan. That's unlimited talk, text, and data for $15 a month. I've told you guys many times that after switching to Mint Mobile, I am spending less than a third on my cell bill than I used to with a major carrier. Say goodbye to your overpriced wireless plans, jaw-dropping monthly bills, and unexpected overages. All Mint plans come with unlimited talk and text plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. And don't worry about having to change phones or numbers. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all your existing contacts. So guys, to get this new customer offer and your new 3-month unlimited wireless plan for just $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/Campea. That's mintmobile.com/Campea. Cut your wireless bills to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/Campea. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details. It brings us back to kind of where we were in pandemic times, Chris, where we are looking at having to ask the question, because AMC Theaters is still the biggest theater chain in the world. Mm-hmm. The movie industry, I don't think it's hyperbole to say, needs AMC theaters. The movie industry needs a healthy AMC theaters. How bad would it be if in 2 months from now, which it may not be far from reality, 2 months from now, waking up one day, opening up the Hollywood Reporter and seeing AMC theaters files for bankruptcy or something along those lines? How big of a problem would that be for the industry as a whole?
Oh, I think huge. I think it'd be a huge blow to the industry, especially with how many things are pivoting towards streaming. We need people to see movies in movie theaters. We need them to be seen on a big screen. And this is the way that most people have access to it. There absolutely are mom and pop movie theaters throughout the globe that you can go to. But these mainstream staples, one, are able to have multiple screens that can afford to have a whole bunch of people in there and also give you a wide array of films to go see that maybe you wouldn't naturally gravitate towards in your streaming life or when you have one of the smaller theaters that only has access to a couple big name tentpole properties. You won't see any of those cool indie films that could come here, any of those limited releases, things like that. What's really wild here, too, is just that number that Yahoo Finance puts out, too. Stock being down 90% since July of 2023.
Just from 6 months ago.
That's wild. 90%. Most of us, if we lost 90% of our worth, would be really trying to figure out our shit, right? We'd all be on ramen noodles and trying our best and not seeing people and using candles. So that's kind of the approach AMC has to take here a little bit too, right? Of doing all this refinancing, trying to have this plan out of liquidating as many assets as they can possible so that they can recoup on all of this debt they accumulated during the pandemic. Now, they lucked out because their last quarter, they did fairly well because of those big tentpole movies that became events.
Oppenheimer, Barbie, things like that
phenomenon.
really bailed them out.
Exactly. And you have to then hope that you get to have lightning strike twice and have something else like that. They're going to be releasing their next line of quarterly assets, I believe, on January 28th. So that's the next time we'll see how finance is truly doing over at AMC. But
it'll be a little harder because you had Dune Move and a couple others. So
yeah, that hurt them.
I think it's expected that this quarter is going to take a slump, and then you'll start to see a pickup
when we have
Q1
those big movies
because,
out.
Yeah. But then, I mean, we've got only one Marvel movie coming out. So
exactly.
I'm a supporter of AMC. I'm a supporter of their stock. Matter of fact, I took advantage of this drop. But
it's not a bad move.
Yeah, but hard times are still on the way. I mean, the industry is still reeling from coming back from COVID and then 2 strikes. Yeah. So we'll call a spade. It's fair.
When you see something like this, though, like if the January 28th quarterly earnings release has some abysmal numbers, for you as an investor, is that something where you jump ship or do you stay the course?
Because I'm not expecting abysmal numbers because we kind of like live track it. So we kind of have an idea.
Okay.
So no. And they still have cash in to go forward for a while. And I'm not opposed to them selling shares. That was part of the reverse split deal. We knew that was going to happen. There's 2 things in their favor with selling shares right now. When they sell shares, they're not selling it at 4, they're selling it like 650. So they're selling above market. And when they pay off their debt, they're usually doing it about 70 cents on the dollar because banks are desperate for money. So they give them like 30%
They've had
off.
to make arrangements.
And that does add value, but that's still not to say that they're not in in trouble.
And by the way, I want to give credit where credit's due too, because while I take a lot of time to list off all the dumb things that they have done, I want to point out a couple of things. One, brilliant move, getting involved in the distribution game with the I almost
Like
said Katy Perry.
Oh yeah.
But
She's
with
probably
the
on the way.
Taylor Swift?
Yeah.
With their movie. Remember, AMC was the main driving engine behind that. They were the distributor of it.
Yeah.
That made them a decent amount of money. That was a really forward-thinking, out-of-the-box kind of idea. And I think, listen, if I'm going to give them crap for the stupid stuff they do, I got to give credit. I think that was a really, really good move.
Absolutely.
But I mean, man, clearly, and by the way, since this report came out, the stock dropped more. Because when the report came out, they called it a record low at $4.50. Yesterday, it closed at $4.11. I think it might have recovered a little bit today. I don't know. We'll have to see.
Little recover. It's like 20 cents up from there.
So it's about 430, 440 right now.
437. Yeah.
So, I mean, but if it continues to drop, it gets down into the threes and stuff like that. This could be, but again, this isn't just a problem for AMC theaters. This is a problem for the industry as a whole, because this is the biggest exhibitor in the business.
They do have the option, just real quick, of stock buybacks, and I know that is talk.
Right, but you
And-
got to
and-
have cash. You got to be cash rich to be able
Yeah.
to do that. So we'll see what happens. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.